There's so much to love about Maine. The people, the places, the food. And we're here to share it all with you. Each week, our team brings you the very best of vacation land. This is Maine Life.
Oh, lover, I'll see you there, waiting in the willows with your autumn hair. Oh, lover, I'll see you there, after many miles.
Today I take you on a journey with me to learn all about how it's made.
I've always liked working with my hands, obviously, and I've always liked eating. And so those two things came together.
And that's the 50-ton press, our loudest machine.
That's the most perfect axe you've ever made. Can't wait to tell my parents I made a Needham.
Let's eat some Maine grains and drink some Maine grains.
Let's do it.
Maine continues to surprise and inspire me. After living and working in this beautiful state my entire life, I continue to discover new places and meet a lot of hardworking and interesting people. Just one of the reasons I love supporting Maine Life. Each week, it takes us all somewhere new and exciting. Hi, I'm Andrew Silsby, President and CEO of Kennebec Savings Bank. Come into any of our locations and experience the difference. But until then, we hope you enjoy this episode of Maine Life. Thanks for watching.
On today's episode of Maine Life, I take you on a journey with me to learn all about how it's made. So many Mainers work with their hands, and we celebrate their commitment to traditions, craftsmanship, and our economy. We're starting this day with one of Maine's sweetest traditions, the Needham. There's lots of folklore to this candy, so we stopped in at the Maine Needham Company in Saco to get a lesson in its history and a lesson in candy making.
Hi, I'm Malika.
And I'm Gerard, and we own and operate the Maine Needham Company here in Saco, Maine.
A Needham is a traditional Maine candy. It was first created back in the 1870s. According to folklore, it was created by a candy maker by the name of Seavey, and it is a coconut potato-filled candy covered in dark chocolate. Now, most people will remember it as their moms or grandmothers making it over the years. It's just become a really nostalgic kind of candy. My first encounter with the Needham was after dinner at my soon-to-be in-laws' house. We had some leftover potatoes, and one of Gerard's 7 sisters said, "Oh, I'm gonna make Needhams out of these." I'm like, "Well, what are Needhams?" And then she proceeds to make this delicious concoction, and that was my first taste of Needhams. I didn't realize how steeped in tradition they were until many years later when we met the woman that we purchased our business from and really started doing some research, and we realized what a treasure we've stumbled upon.
Welcome, Sydney, to Maine Needham Company's production area. This is where all the magic happens.
It feels like magic. I'm so excited to be here. A dream come true being in a real life candy factory.
So we add the water to our potato flakes. Let that mix up. It's making our mashed potato basically, and this is our coconut oil. Now, some people might be a little surprised at how much sugar is in it, but it is candy.
I could use a spoonful of that on a filming day.
The story of how we came to be owners of the Maine Needham Company starts a little over 30 years ago when we first got married. We didn't have enough money to hire somebody to make a cake for our wedding, so Gerard taught himself how to do that. He was building houses with his brother as work and realized that it probably wasn't something he wanted to continue doing forever. So he tried his hand at doing custom cake decorating. We converted part of our basement into a kitchen, got it state certified, and we're trying to build that business. In the meantime, we had an acquaintance who was running this Needham business, and she reached out to us and said, "Hey, let's talk."
Can't wait to tell my parents I made a Needham.
Gerard has a real knack for seeing efficiencies and defining processes, and so he was able to just really fine-tune how we do things back there.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Can't slow him down too much, he'll
No,
stop.
that's okay.
He quits if I go too slow.
It's
Here, I'll
kind
work with you.
of hard to keep the paper separated. Oh, perfect. Teamwork makes the dream work, always.
We love what we do. We love working together, and having such a great product that's steeped in tradition really gives us something to be proud of and continue to work to excel.
Ready to go.
There you go.
We've done it. A full Needham process, start to finish.
Keep the chef's hat and enjoy some Needhams.
I will definitely enjoy some Needhams, and make sure you look for Needhams at your local shop, and maybe you'll get lucky and get the one that I packed too.
Just a few miles away in South Portland, you'll find a small blacksmithing shop. But this small shop is making big waves in the axe making industry.
My name's Steve Ferguson. I'm one of the co-owners of Branton Cochran.
And I'm Barry Worthy, and I'm one of the other co-owners of Branton Cochran. And we make axes here in South Portland, Maine, specializing in a Maine wedge pattern axe, which is unlike any other axe made in the world today.
Well, I'm sure axe making started in Maine as soon as people began to inhabit Maine. That's how, buildings were built and roads were, logged and cleared. And so axe making goes back as far as the history of the state of Maine. Axe making probably stopped in Maine and most everywhere in the United States with the advent of the chainsaw. When that came in, axes were not needed as much. How we started was I went to get my godson an axe for forestry school, and I went to look for one, and I couldn't find an American-made axe. I ended up buying a Swedish axe for my godson, and my brother had just kind of sold a software company recent to our starting, and I said, hey, we should really start an axe business. I think there'd be a market for axes if we got into this, this business. So.
Right, and so, the best way to start a business is to know absolutely nothing about what you're doing. Because as a nurse, as a school psychologist, I don't make axes. We started with restoration. We worked in a shared maker space in Portland, and we started with restoration of old axes to sell and restoration of axes for customers as we got people on board and worked with partners around the state, blacksmiths and other manufacturers to kind of figure out what's the best way we can do this, and that's kind of really the impetus and how it started.
Well, we make a Maine wedge pattern, which is a very unique axe to the state of Maine. Has a very thick pole, which is the end of the axe, and just a very angular kind of profile.
See, it's just like a big triangle, right? It's just a wedge, literally.
Yeah.
There's nothing else fancy about it.
Love it. Simple is smart.
And we make the Allagash Cruiser, which is our kind of interpretation of a Maine wedge.
Wow.
Which is very similar. This is a 2 1/4, 2.5 pound axe. The one that Barry was just showing is probably originally like a 3.5 pound, which is a felling axe. This is more of kind of a cruiser boy's axe. All right, Sydney, let me have you meet Keegan Whitford. This is our head blacksmith. They go by Keg.
Hey, Keg, how are you?
You'll be in good hands with Keg and may even do part of the process.
And then you just pull down. There you go. All right, come up. And then there you go. And that's the 50-ton press, our loudest machine.
That's the most perfect axe you've ever made, I'm sure.
Our block is heated back up, and we're ready for the next step. I'm gonna be doing the rough profiling, so I'm gonna take it onto this press, establish that curve that you get at the very bottom of the axe. So it's right there.
Look at that color.
Yeah, it's great. Something you never really get over. Like, I love it. I always want to eat it. It's a weird thing.
It really looks edible.
Yeah, totally.
Do not eat that at home, kids.
Don't eat it.
So currently we're making about 25 to upwards of 30 a week. And we have this new process that's getting put together, and we're working with the University of Maine, the Manufacturers Extension Partnership, because right now we're 22 weeks behind on orders. So if you order one today, you get it in 20 or 22 weeks, and that's frustrating for us. And we need to really make about 60 to 70 a week, and that's what this new process kind of promises for us. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes in a gas forge to heat the metal up to a squishable temperature in a 25 or 50-ton press. This new induction forge will do it in 180 seconds.
Thank you so much for showing me.
Yeah, of course.
Super impressive, and the product is just stunning.
Sweet, thank you.
Everyone could use a Maine and Maine axe.
It's true, it's true.
Welcome back to Maine Life, and our travels now find us in Somerset County. There are lots of products manufactured here utilizing Maine's natural resources. We find ourselves in Madison at the site of an old paper mill. Now, it's the first of its kind forest products company in North America.
Hi, I'm Matt O'Malia. I am co-founder at Timber HP. Timber HP is a startup right here in Madison, Maine, where we'll be manufacturing wood fiber insulation, the first in North America, and where we take the residuals from the lumber industry, we refine it and make insulation products to be put in our homes and buildings. I'm an architect by training, and I've been focused on doing high-performance buildings. And our goal has been building buildings that are sustainable, super energy efficient, to make people comfortable, to save energy. We realized that insulation was not consistent with our goals. Like, we're trying to be sustainable, we're trying to think about the planet, and we're using glass, we're using steel slag and basalt, we're using oil to insulate our buildings. And then we started to look at alternatives, and that's where Josh Henry, the co-founder of Timber HP, and I came together. I'm an architect, he's a chemist, kind of an unusual collaboration, but it was kind of good to think about new materials in the built environment, given his background and my background. We started to explore this, and we came across insulation that was made from wood in Europe. It's been there for like 20-25 years. Wood fiber insulation in Europe actually is a bit of a premium product. It comes in a little bit higher than other insulations in the market. And the reason is the wood in Europe is actually quite a bit more expensive, 3 times more expensive. But what we did is we simply looked at the unit economics of manufacturing wood fiber insulation in Maine, and we realized with the low cost of the wood residuals, our low cost of energy, this would actually be cost competitive right in the middle of the insulation market. When we were looking at this incredible product in Europe, and then this terrible problem we were having with the loss of paper mills manufacturing and the support of the lumber industry from a supply chain standpoint, we realized that not only was this an amazing product, but it really needed to be manufactured in Maine. And that is where Timber HP came from. That was the start of a very long, crazy, and difficult journey, which we're in the middle of, but very rewarding, and I think so important for the state of Maine, rural communities like Madison, but also buildings and kind of the future of construction to be more sustainable, more planet friendly. Here at Timber HP, we're going to manufacture 3 products, and they all are for building construction. The first product is something I think very familiar to all of us. It's batt insulation, it's squishy, and it fits into stud cavities. The other product is a blown-in insulation. It's a loose fiber, essentially the same fiber as our batt. And then the third product is really kind of, for me, the game changer and an interesting one. It's a board product. And where this board product gets installed is actually on the exterior face of a wall. This is like Gore-Tex. It's windproof on the outside, it's waterproof, but it's vapor permeable. In other words, the vapor can escape through that. And that's important because in the wintertime, we have a lot of moisture generated in our buildings. And that moisture moves through our building envelope. But if this layer on the outside is impervious, like foam, it'll get caught there and it'll cause degradation on the OSB or the plywood. I think for us, we're going to be out in New England, a lot of lumberyard sales for these products. And we also see the opportunity of going beyond New England. But of course, we're starting here in Maine, and we're going to focus on supporting our Maine communities with this. And we're really excited to bring this product on later this summer. We're almost there with the equipment, getting it ready to go. And so all 3 products, later this year will be available.
When you have a history of greatness, you keep dreaming and go beyond what's possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet, from Honda.
At Verlin City, we give drivers a worry-free guarantee on service. That means no surprises when your vehicle needs maintenance. And with our complete vehicle care, every tire purchased is expertly installed by our ASE certified technicians and includes free tire rotations for the life of the tire. And with 2 years of complimentary road hazard coverage, you'll have peace of mind for miles down the road. That's our worry-free guarantee. Verlin City.
Hey everyone, Chef Doreen here to show you how to make your life easier in the kitchen. Here's this week's Hannaford hack. Baking is more of an exact science than cooking. so you want to make sure your measurements are precise. Instead of taking your measuring cup and scooping into the flour, take a spoon, pour it in, and then level it off. If you can measure by weight, it's even better. Another baking tip to keep your brown sugar soft, go ahead and throw a couple marshmallows in while storing it. And when using butter, don't throw the wrapper away. You can use that to grease your pans, or if you're melting butter in the microwave, use it to cover that dish. For more tips and inspiration, please visit us at hannaford.com. Happy cooking!
Hi, I'm Charlene Hamuka, president of Harcourt's Waterfront and Vine Properties. When it comes to Maine real estate, Harcourt's is with you all the way. I have a team of agents around the state who are ready to answer any and all questions you may have about what it takes to buy or sell a home in Maine. And they can tell you what it's actually like to live here year-round. We look forward to working with you soon.
We now switch gears from the forest to the fields. Maine Grains in Skowhegan uses stone milling methods to create locally sourced grain products. I met up with friend of the show, Andrew Silsby, at their facility.
Andrew,
how are you?
So nice to see you. Andrew Silsby, everybody. Andrew is such an amazing supporter and friend of not only Maine Life, but of so many Maine businesses, made in Maine products, including Maine Grains.
Thank you so much for coming up to Skowhegan. I'm excited to introduce you to Amber and the Maine Grain family, and it's just going to be a great day.
I can't wait to see how the process is done. We're right now in the Miller's Table, which is part of the Maine Grains campus. We'll probably have to come back after for some homemade Maine Grains pizza.
And beer?
And beer. But for now, let's go learn about how the process is done and meet Amber.
Let's do it.
My name is Amber Lamke. I am the founder and CEO of Maine Grains here in downtown Skowhegan. We're a grist mill that processes organic and heritage grains into stone milled flour, rolled oats, cornmeal, buckwheat, and other products for bakers, brewers, and chefs. In my process to build the business plan for Maine Grains, I did go out to Kansas and I tried to learn what the grain industry in the United States actually looks like. Only 1/10% of the grains in this country are grown organically. So here in Maine, we wanted to grow organic grains to support clean food, but also the organic livestock industry here. We use beautiful Austrian stone mills to make freshly milled, stone milled flour that has all the wonderful bran and germ in it for flavorful baked goods. So we serve bakers, brewers, and chefs. Now bakers want to use the flour. Brewers can use the whole grain or the flaked grains or the cracked grains, and we can do all of that for them as well. Some customers like chefs are cooking the whole grains. So whether it's pearled barley or polenta or cornmeal, we have customers that are fermenting the grains into soy sauce and tempeh and other products like that. One of the benefits of purchasing the former Somerset County Jail building for this facility was that it had vertical height, and it's a very sturdy building. Vertical height is important because we can send grains to the top of the facility and gravity feed through the machines on the way down, so that on the final first floor, our team is weighing, bagging, and palleting up product that goes out the door every day. In the first 10 years of Maine Grains business, we've seen so many other things come to be here in Skowhegan. We have Crooked Face Creamery right here in our building. We have a community-run radio station, a knit shop, a cafe here in our building. We've got a thriving farmer's market, a pasta shop. So much is happening here. In the next 10 years of Maine Grains campus, I hope you will see us build a new building right next door that will house even more equipment to do special foods, cereals, snack foods, baking mixes, cake mixes, pancake mixes, things like that that make it even easier to eat well at home.
Well, thank you, Amber. This was fascinating. I learned so much today.
Including that even Martha Stewart herself loves Maine Grains.
She says one of her favorite breakfasts is Maine Grains organic cracked oats.
Andrew and I are gonna stick around here at the Miller's table, literally and figuratively digest everything that you have to offer at this amazing facility.
Thanks for coming.
Well, Sydney, thank you for coming up to Skowhegan, Maine.
Andrew, thank you so much for having me and introducing me to this amazing company. I have loved learning all about how it's made here at Maine Grains.
Let's eat some Maine grains and drink some Maine grains.
Let's do it. 2 things I know we can do. Cheers.
Cheers.
When you have a history of greatness, you keep dreaming and go beyond what's possible. The new 2024 Ridgeline Passport and Pilot, part of our most rugged trail sport lineup yet, from Honda.
We round out the day in the heart of the Old Port at Standard Baking Company. This European-style bakery handcrafts fresh bread daily, using sustainable grains, including those from Maine Grains. I wanted to see how these ingredients became artisanal breads, so I met some of the talented bakers who make the magic happen.
We focus on more Southern European style breads that are more about the crust. The baguette is a classic example where the reason the baguette is shaped in that long way is because you get more crust to crumb, which is the interior of the bread. And then as well as that, we're doing pastries. We do lots of traditional pastries. We laminate all our croissants and our morning buns in-house. It's a traditional French technique where you're layering butter and yeasted dough and doing multiple folds to get thin little layers, and it makes a really great flaky product. What I love about baking is you're working with something that's alive and you're working with organic ingredients, so it's always changing. The weather affects it, the quality of the flour affects it, so it's never the same. It's always, every day is different, there's a new challenge. I've always liked working with my hands, obviously, and I've always liked eating. And so those 2 things came together. First thing we're gonna add is the starter. This is a sourdough starter that the owner started probably like 30 years ago, and we've been feeding for 30 years.
It's older than I am.
Exactly.
So every bread you bake here, are they made with different grains each time?
Yeah, so this is made with Maine grains, and it's made with high extraction flour. It's a flour that's a sort of a hybrid between white flour and whole wheat.
Wow, that's a lot of flour.
So this is the soaker. Once we develop the dough, we're gonna add this, and this is a blend of grains that we make here, and then we toast them. So that gives you sort of toasty notes inside the bread.
Wow.
As well as it makes them more digestible. We get all these from Maine Grains as well. It's a blend of corn, rye, oats, wheat, and spelt. I think one thing people don't understand about quality bread is time is an ingredient. It's really a slow food. And if you don't have that time in the process, then the bread's not gonna have the flavor, the complex flavor that you get from long, slow fermentation. All right, well, here's the finished dough. You can see the grains have all been incorporated.
Wow.
Obviously, it still needs to be shaped and baked, but if you want to try the finished product, you can go out front, and I'm sure they can help you out.
Tim, my mouth has been watering this whole time. I'm definitely gonna do that, but thank you for showing me and sharing with me how this is made.
You're welcome, thanks for coming.
I was just out back with Tim, and we were watching the Maine 5 grain be made, and I could not leave without actually trying it. Yeah, so I would love a loaf of that.
Sure thing.
And I gotta feed my videographer. Johnny, what do you want?
I got my eyes on the morning bun here with walnuts.
And a morning bun. We gotta keep this man fueled. I'll do
good.
the Maine 5 grain and a morning bun, please. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Maine Life. To follow along on all of our adventures, you can watch our content on our Maine Life Media YouTube and Facebook pages, the News Center Maine app, and follow us on Instagram at Maine Life TV. We're also offering a Maine Life membership for access to all of our itineraries, deals and discounts on places we go, and more exclusive content. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors and to all of you for watching. Happy adventuring. See you next time. To this delicious bread we just saw being made, I'm also going up to meet, and that was going so good.
Do that again.
One more time. Well, thank you again. Andrew and I are gonna stick around here at the Miller's table. Table. Sexing. factory, what do you call it, facility? Grist mill, in the grist mill. One more time.
Sean, he's like, yeah, please.
He's like, that was a literal disaster.